Hey, what is up, everybody? I am back, your boy, the Physical Media Mac, with another pickups video. I got some stuff from the MVD sale. What was the MVD sale? I don't even remember. Thanksgiving, Christmas. It's been a minute for sure, but it's giving me time to watch the majority of the movies, which is cool. And got a lot of Goodwill pickups, some Amazon, eBay stuff, and I only have 47 minutes on my phone, so I better get started immediately here. Hopefully everybody's having a good week, and I didn't get any sleep last night. I woke up at 3 o'clock and just could not go back to bed, man, so I am dead tired. All right, haven't been to the movies in a long time, but I did go see Godzilla -1, and I'm not going to go too much into it, but it's a badass film. It's truly one of the more terrifying Godzillas in this. Of course, it's a Toho film, and all the Toho films I rank them up way higher than the American films, as a majority of, you know, diehard Godzilla fans do. And yeah, definitely highly recommend you go check that one out. And it was also a heartwarming. It was a touching film. You know, I went with my parents, and let's just say some teary-eyed. We were some teary-eyed motherfrickers. Okay, all right. Now, speaking of Godzilla, I've never seen this. Now, this is not Toho. This is an American release. Yeah, Legendary Films. I think that's the American Legendary. Movie that I've not seen before. Now, there's some talk about us doing a live stream possibly coming up where we rank all the Godzilla films, which I think will be really fun. And this is one. So this is why I picked this one up, because I want to make sure I watch every Godzilla film. Godzilla, King of the Monsters. And I definitely have not seen this because I don't recognize any of the cast. I mean, I recognize the cast in other films, but I don't, you know, it doesn't remind me of, I can tell I haven't watched this movie with this cast in it. Does that make any sense? All right, next up here, we'll do the MVD stuff last. I mean, what's your favorite? What's your top 5 favorite Godzilla films? Let me know in the comments below. Lord forbid my subscribers participate in the comments. You know? Shots fired. All right, you guys know how I love my... Hopefully I didn't talk about this in the last video. You guys know how I love my killer rat films. I have a... let's just put it to you this way. A pain threshold for watching these films. Yeah, I guess that's what you call it, a pain threshold. I endure a lot of pain watching these movies because they're really bad, but still find enjoyment in them. This one I really didn't find too much enjoyment. This is a truly terrible rat film, Revenge of the Rats. I think Tylord gave me this. Yeah, this movie sucks. It is truly epically bad. I don't know. It's a foreign film as well. I don't know if it's Russian. I can't remember now. It's just a horrible mess of a movie. Speaking of horrible messes of movies, although I haven't watched this, but I heard... at first, when I saw the cover, I was like, wait a second, Sleepaway. I've seen all the Sleepaway Camp movies. This doesn't sound familiar. Apparently, they made a remake. And it's supposed to be really bad. But I'll check that out soon and let you guys know what I think about it. Love all the Sleepaway films, all 3 of them. The OGs, man, so good. Lesser known fact, I think in part 2 and 3 of the Sleepaway films, I was about to say Bruce Willis, not Bruce Willis, Born in the USA. Who sings Born in the USA? Why can't I think of his name? His daughter is in Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3. I'm pretty sure. Bruce Springsteen. All right, It's a really good film. Really good follow-up to the original. I've seen it multiple times now. I needed it for the physical collection, so I picked it up. Wolf Creek 2. Goodwill pickup. I mean, the guy in this, John Jarrett is the actor, is truly a epic serial killer, man. He's so good in these films. Love to see more from him. Hopefully he hadn't passed away. Yeah, I could see Wolf Creek 3 coming out. All right, triple feature Van Damme. These are later films, though, so they're just... You know what? I actually have seen Derailed recently for the first time. If I remember correctly, it wasn't that good. I remember In Hell. That's one of the later films, that actually one of his better later films. I really enjoyed that one. And I've never seen Wake of Death, but I got a bad feeling that's terrible. I had to grab it. Van Damme triple feature. It does come on 2 discs. Instead of compressing them all on one. Did I tell you guys I didn't get any sleep last night? I'm just dead tired right now. Alright, oh, yeah, okay. I am officially a VHS scumbag now. I had to do it, man. I'm a big Michael Dudikoff fan, and when I found out how rare the lasers and how expensive the DVDs are, how hard they are to get a hold of, I said, you know what? A movie that basically just copied Platoon, Michael Dudikoff, and Platoon leader. And yeah, man. I like the tagline, war is hell. This was worse. And, by the way, a Canon release, guys. You can't go wrong with Michael Dudikoff and Canon. But yeah, I've seen reviews how they talked about how this completely blatantly ripped off the movie Platoon. It probably came out a year afterwards. Thought I saw Peter Weller's name in this. No, I'm losing my mind. I need REM sleep. All right. I mean, I don't want to grab the MVD stuff till last. Oh, here's a bunch of non-MVD stuff. I picked up a lot of shit, man. Literally. You know, these are classics. I mean, I haven't seen these in a long time, and I need to watch them again. I started to watch the first one, and I didn't recognize the beginning of it. But, I mean, I haven't watched these since I was a kid, though. So, I mean, it's hard to remember. But, you know, he wasn't with the family at first. You know, he was, whatever, working for the government or whatever. And so once it gets to the family part, I'm sure I'll have some nostalgia. Now, yeah, I mean, these are classics. Both of these films are. Short Circuit and Short Circuit 2. Love it, man. All right, I usually only see these in horror, you know, horror films. These collections that look like that kind of style, that art style. They're always horror films. I never see them in action. So as soon as I saw this, I was like, I gotta grab this shit. And let me just run through this. It's got the base. And the base has, let me see here. Mark Dacascos. Yeah, Dacascos. Am I saying his name right? Which is in a lot of B action films. And then base 2 has Antonio Sabato Jr. And then they have a movie called On the Borderline, Hidden Agenda with Dolph Lundgren, Detention with Dolph Lundgren, The Punisher with Dolph Lundgren, which I haven't seen. That's one of the main reasons I picked this up. And Extreme Justice, which I just checked out. And then Diplomatic Siege, I believe. So anyway, I'm a big Lou Diamond Phillips fan, guys. And when I saw Extreme Justice, I saw the cast. Lou Diamond Phillips, he's the headliner in it, actually. Scott Glenn, what is this guy's name? Yapot Kodo. And then Wishmaster himself, Andrew Divoff, always plays such a great bad guy. But he's not a bad guy in this film. Well, he sort of is. And then we have Ed Lauder, which you might remember from Ed Lauder's been so much shit. He usually plays like a police chief or whatever. He's been in hundreds of movies. R.I.P. to him, by the way. I think he's passed away since. And so, yeah, it had an outstanding cast. And I really, really wanted to like this movie, guys. But it kind of let me down. I mean, it really did let me down. So it has this death squad, this police force called the Special Investigation Section. The acronym for that is SIS, which is like the gayest name for this badass police force. SIS, like sissy, right? And basically this squad follows around people that were released from prison, and they wait for them to commit a crime, and then they kill them, is basically what they do. So, are they supposed to arrest them? I don't know what the hell's going on. Every time they kill someone, so I'm assuming they're supposed to kill them. It's really not fleshed out. Now, Scott Glenn's the head of that, so he enlists Lou Diamond Phillips, who's in trouble with the police. He's like a renegade cop, but he's a good guy. He breaks the rules and stuff, but he does it because he's a good guy. He has a big heart, and he's just trying to save people and stuff. And so he's not a bad cop, but he's got the what is it called? The the police are investigating him, and he's in trouble and stuff. So they basically, Scott Glenn's character saves him and says, "Don't kick him off the force. We'll take him in our unit." So he basically has no choice, but he used to be partners with Scott Glenn's character. So he, willingly joins. And it's so crazy. Like, so they don't even tell Lou Diamond Phillips anything. It's like they don't explain anything to him of what they're trying to do and stuff. They don't give him a lot of knowledge. So the first thing they do, people are robbing this bank. These psychopaths are robbing this bank. And so Scott Glenn, they know they're going to rob the bank. So Scott Glenn and Lou Diamond Phillips are undercover inside the bank. And then the rest of the force are outside in a car, talking to them on the radio, telling them, oh, they just pulled up. They're about to go into the bank. And then they start robbing the bank. They pull out their guns. And Lou Diamond Phillips' character says, "Freeze, it's the police." And literally, as soon as he does that, the criminals start shooting everybody in the bank. They kill like 5 people before Scott Glenn even pulls out his gun. It's so friggin' stupid. And it's like every time they follow a criminal, they end up killing innocent bystanders. It's such a clusterfuck of a unit. And yeah, it just really let me down. I'm not a big fan of it. All right, what else? Next up here, we have, so I watched 2 of the films. I watched Detention. Detention is really a bad film. I was about to say Lou Diamond Phillips again, or Rutger Hauer for some reason. Dolph Lundgren, I told you I'm tired. Dolph Lundgren's character, in the beginning of the film, he's in the military, and they end up saving these children. They're in a foreign war, and they end up saving these children. And one of the children gets left behind, and Dolph Lundgren's, no, we got to go get the other child. They don't let him, and then all of a sudden things start. It gets bombed, that area, by their military force. They bomb that area because there's terrorists in that area. So they end up killing the girl. So now he has to live with this. He ends up getting out of the military, and he ends up being a teacher, a history teacher at a high school. And later on, he drives a motorcycle. He's kind of like the cool teacher. And so he's banging one of the other teachers. They're literally like having sex, like in the middle of class, like in in the break room and shit. The principal's like breaking them up, saying, "What are you doing?" And you're supposed to be, you know, a good example to the children and stuff. And then Rutger Hauer is supposed to be like this hero, good guy, but he's kind of like a little bit of a slime ball, or like a, you know, like a mess, like a screw up or whatever. And he ends up handing him like his papers and saying, "This is my last day." He doesn't even give him like a notice or anything. He's like, "This is my last day." And the principal's like, "Oh, well, we're really sorry to lose you." So then later on, I guess the teacher that's teaching detention ends up calling out sick or leaves or whatever because they have an emergency or whatever. So the principal tells him, "Sorry, I know this is your last day, but you have to watch detention." So while he's watching detention, for some reason, these terrorists, are not even terrorists, these, it's such a stupid plot. I can't even explain it. I'm so tired and it's so dumb. They choose this place to have like, to have these drugs delivered to it, and then to go up on the roof and have a helicopter pick them up and go away with all these kilos of cocaine or heroin or whatever it is. And so they do it after the school closes. Everyone leaves except for the security guard and the Dolph Lundgren in the detention class, the few people in the detention class. And they lock the doors like on Lean On Me, which is like against the law and stuff. You're not supposed to do. All the doors are like chained and locked while they're inside the school. And somehow these criminals get inside the school. And so now Dolph Lundgren and the kids join forces to fight against these terrorists. It is a really bad movie. The dialogue is like some of the worst I've ever seen in a film before. And did I get some enjoyment out of it? Yeah, there's some enjoyment to be had out of detention. But yeah, it's super over the top. It's got some cool action sequences and stuff. And oh, it does have a really good scene where Dolph Lundgren gets shot, and he takes I love shit like this. He takes a blowtorch and finds a metal pipe, and he cooks that metal pipe with the blowtorch until it gets like steaming, till it's like lava hot. You can see it just smoldering. It turns red, and then he sticks it onto on his stomach, onto the bullet hole, and just his flesh just melts. I love shit like that. It basically cauterizes the wound. So yeah, man, super over the top cheesy shit, man. But Detention was not bad at all. I can't wait to see The Punisher. I heard that's really good, and I'll probably check out The Base 1 and 2. I don't think Hidden Agenda is good. I might have seen that before. On the Borderline looks terrible, and Diplomatic Siege quite possibly could have Peter Weller in it. It looks like. Let me see here. Yes, it does. So that's going to be a must watch. I'm a big Peter Weller fan. So yeah, cool collection right there, man. I thought. We dropped movies everywhere. All right. Look at the damn window. I haven't done that in a while. All right, double pack here. I've seen Invasion USA before. Actually watched it last year, I think, and that's the one with Richard Lynch in it, right? I'm pretty sure Richard Lynch is the bad guy in that, so good shit. Everybody knows Invasion USA. And Hero in the Terror, I almost consider this like a horror film. I love Chuck Norris in horror movies. Any kind of horror movies. Silent Rage, I think, was another one that he was in. The movie where he fights the devil that I bought on Laserdisc, The Hell. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head right now. Love Chuck Norris in horror movies. He's such a wooden actor. I put him on the caliber of like Ice-T, if Ice-T could fight. Their acting has no range or whatever. But you know what? In this movie, Hero in the Terror, I like that there's no comedy to him. He's like just like a brute police officer, super serious and dedicated to track down this serial killer. Now, this is a Cannon film, guys. How can you go wrong with Chuck Norris and Cannon? Now, another great thing about Hero in the Terror has got one of my favorite actors who died at a super young age. Rest in peace, Steve James, who was in the American Ninja films, to name a couple. Now, the serial killer in this film, who, by the way, was an ex-boxer who fought Ken Norton, who was a fucking brutal killer boxer, and also George Foreman, which is one of the scariest boxers of all time. He fought them like when they were younger, I think. Can't remember the name off the top of my head, but the terror of the film, the serial killer, was an ex-boxer. Now, what's interesting about him is they don't say if he rapes anybody, but the way he kills all the chicks in this film, he just grabs their head and snaps their neck. It's so badass. He might do that to Steve James. Spoiler alert, guys. But yeah, man, it's cool how he snaps everybody's neck in this film. And early on, Chuck Norris catches him and, you know, battles with him and ends up getting the best of it, I guess. And it's weird. Like, I watched this film and must have fell asleep or something. And then I picked it up the next day. Oh, I know what happened. I was watching the film, the beginning, I think, and I fell asleep in the beginning. And it must have kept rolling. And when I turned it on again, it was towards the end. So I watched the end. So I was all backwards on this. I had to watch the end and then rewind and go back to almost the beginning and watch it all over again because I was so screwed up on the viewing. But anyway, really enjoyed this one. And so the terror ends up getting arrested in the film, but then the terror breaks out and steals this van, but this van goes off a cliff or something like that. So they pronounce him dead, but they never find the body. And then all of a sudden these murders start happening again. And he takes these after he snaps the neck of these females, he takes them to his lair, which is in this abandoned amusement park that ends up getting opened back up again for like this special event or whatever. And yeah, man, good shit, man. I enjoyed it. Comes on 2 discs as well, man. Yeah, let me take a sip here. I was so close at the beginning of this video, just like deleting it and starting again, but I'm not doing that. I'm tired, man. I'm just going to roll through this shit. All right, next up here. Now, this I would consider a hidden gem, Lou Diamond Phillips movies. And I'm always looking for these type of movies with Lou Diamond Phillips, so I was so happy to find this one. It's called Takedown. And early on in this movie, it's not very fleshed out. Like, I did not understand it until I read the synopsis after I watched the movie. Or, no, I kind of understood it later on, but it was confusing at the beginning because in the beginning of the film, what happens is his young daughter gets raped, but like she was somewhere waiting on Lou Diamond Phillips' character, her dad, to pick her up, but he was late. I don't know if he was fucking around or what was going on, but if he was not late, she would have never got raped. So incidentally, she ends up getting raped, and now, of course, this is on his conscience. Now, the wife immediately divorces him, so he doesn't see his daughter or wife again for a long period of time and stuff. And he starts spiraling downward, you know, into his depression. And then later on, we find him as a third shift security guard at this large warehouse that all these trucks are coming in and out all day, delivering and picking stuff up. And they find this this truck. There was an error, like there was a form not filled out or something like that. So Lou Diamond Phillips and one of the other security guards go investigate it, and they end up finding no one's in the truck, or no one's driving the truck, and he finds this young girl. I think it kind of reminds him of his daughter. I take from it. And, you know, she's crying and stuff. She's a Russian chick. And he's like, what's going on or whatever. And she's scared, terrified and stuff. And then all of a sudden, a like this Russian mob guy comes out and starts shooting. They gets into a shootout and tries to kill Lou Diamond Phillips, and the girl disappears. So now he's trying to track down this girl. His mission is, oh, I forgot to mention. So the girl tells him to look in the back of the truck. I don't really understand this part. He opens the back of the truck, and there's all these young girls that are dead. It looks like they've all been shot or something like that. So that part I really didn't understand that much. But what it is basically a sex trafficking that's being done by the Russian mob. And they've been trafficking these girls for years, and not just this truck, but many other trucks have come in, and they're established in America, and they have these whorehouses and stuff, and these illegal whorehouses, so with young children and stuff. So so Lou Diamond knows about this. So now his goal is to track this girl down and find her, and to investigate because remember, he used to be a police officer. I can't remember if I mentioned that to you guys. So now he's investigating this case on his own, and he's going up against the Russian mob. Lou Diamond Phillips is an absolute badass in this film. This is a really solid action film. When you see someone get shot, their chest explodes. It looks like real gunshots. People's heads are getting blown up. The practical effects are amazing in the film. And it's just a really cool, white-knuckle, insanely fun film, man. I mean, it's depressing as hell, but I say fun because the action never lets up. It's unrelenting. And, yeah, man, I definitely check this one out, man. This is a really cool flick. Very surprised by this one. Takedown. And the cool thing about it is Lou Diamond Phillips, he's got his bad side to him too. He's definitely not perfect, man. Someone has a score to settle. This used to be a rental from Video Hut in Tujunga. Is that Tujunga, California? I don't know. All right, good shit. Speaking of good shit, man. Holy fuck. All right, first of all, I have an announcement. I've decided to collect one of the hardest subsets to possibly collect in the movie realm, and that is the PM Entertainment subset of movies. And there's probably like 100 of them, and some of them are ultra friggin' rare, but I gotta do it, man. PM Entertainment, I absolutely adore them. Thank you so much, PM Entertainment, for all the B-action films that you made over the years. Yeah, man. Absolutely love it. And researching the PM Entertainment films, I knew nothing about this film, and this one guy made or this one site had I think it was like a top 25 PM Entertainment films. They had this one #1, and I can see why. I don't know if I have it #1, but as far as the over-the-top action, it doesn't get any more impressive than this one, guys. Rage with Gary Daniels, and basically what happens in this movie is there's this government agency that I think they're working with like corrupt police officers around the border, and there's this one Mexican guy who's selling off illegal aliens to them, okay? And these illegal aliens, these Mexicans, they're making these drug concoctions, and they're injecting them, trying to make like these super soldiers out of them. And so they're basically lab rats because they don't know exactly what they're doing. They take them to a lab, and some of them die, some of them get stronger, and so it's in the infancy stages of this development of these super soldiers. Now, during this purchase of these illegal aliens, a shootout commences with the corrupt cops basically saying, I'm not going to pay you no money. I'm going to take these Mexicans. And the Mexican guy starts fighting back, and there's this shootout. Now, that Mexican boss guy ends up fleeing, right? And he just so happens, Gary Daniels is he's a teacher in this film. And he's in his car traveling down the road, and he gets stopped with the gun, and the guy jumps in the passenger side. So now he gets carjacked, and he's telling him where to go and shit. Now, the government agency, the police force, they catch up with them. Gary Daniels stops the car, and instead of just taking the Mexican guy in, they look at Gary Daniels' character's ID and realize that he's a foreigner, and they see that he's a bigger, like, dude, and they're thinking to themselves, man, he'd be better than the Mexicans because he's like a bigger white dude. And so they take him to the lab and shoot him up with all these drugs and stuff. And then, like, he gets, like, super strength and stuff and breaks out. And there's this huge shootout. He kills all these people at the lab. And then he escapes. And now he's on the run. And the government agency's trying to catch him. And, man, this has some of the most crazy, over-the-top shit I've ever seen in my life, guys. This right here is the perfect thing to put on the cover. If you can't tell, he's hanging off the side of a skyscraper building, and there is a helicopter which is shooting at him. In this scene, that the helicopter is told, you cannot shoot him directly. We have to make this look like an accident, which is so hilarious. So he's climbing on the outside of this building for some stupid reason. The helicopter, they're sniping at him, but they're shooting like right next to him, trying to knock him off of the building. He falls, I swear to God, he falls probably 30 flights, or like, I don't know, 150 feet. He falls onto a metal scaffold and slams down on the scaffold and just gets back up and like brushes his shoulder off. I swear to God, it's so funny. And if that is not enough, all of a sudden now they're shooting the scaffold. They're shooting the crank on the scaffold, and then the scaffold like drops another 100 feet. He doesn't die from that. And then now he's hanging on the outside of the scaffold. One of the cables breaks, and the helicopter's like above him, and somehow he jumps out on the rope, on the cable rope, and he's swinging back and forth trying to get momentum, and he swings up to the helicopter and jumps on the helicopter, pulls up, grabs the guy in the helicopter, pulls him down. It is the greatest shit I've ever seen in a movie, in an action film, ever. And then if that is not enough, he falls from the helicopter at least 300 feet through a glass ceiling. No, he doesn't fall in grass. No, he doesn't fall in a pool. No, he doesn't fall in a lake. I'm spitting everywhere because I'm so excited. He falls on literally like concrete and somehow gets up and holds himself. He holds like his stomach and then shakes it off and walks away. I swear to God, this shit is so insane. It says on there, the tagline, he's taking the law into his own hands. I mean, this has everything. There's a scene where he's surfing on top of a diesel truck that slams head on, going like 100 miles an hour into a bus. No, it's a diesel truck with explosives in the back. He slams 100 miles an hour into it while he's surfing on it, jumps off the explosion, catapults him into the air like 100 feet, and he lands on the ground. Not a scratch, guys. Rage is PM Entertainment. Orgasmic pleasure. You have to check this movie out, man. Oh my God, I love PM Entertainment. Oh shit, how much time we got left? Oh, I want to talk more about that movie, but I can't. We got to move on. All right, we'll do the laser disc last. I'm going to go into the MVD stuff now. Oh, no, wait. This is not MVD, is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I bought 12. Oh, no. Let me see. 2, 3, 4. Oh, no. Yeah, I bought 10 movies from MVD. All right, now I mentioned this in the past. I'm not a big like superhero film guy. I grew up on Superman, granted. Watched the old Batmans and stuff like that. The newer Spider-Man stuff, I really never really got into. The X-Men stuff, never got into. I'm just not a now I like some of the more obscure stories, superhero stories, you know, some of them. But the big budget ones, I'm just not a huge fan of. So kind of strange that I picked this up, but I like females that are badasses in films and stuff. And this is a 4K that I found at Goodwill with the slippity dip cover, and it's an only at Target exclusive. So I thought that was kind of badass. Now, let me see here. So it's X-Men Dark Phoenix. And for $2.99, why not? See the regular cover there. The back of it. I'm going to pause that. And this comes with the Blu-ray. It's got this huge poster. There's no way I'm going to be able to have to delete some stuff off my phone. I had problems finding stuff to delete off the phone, man. It's getting harder and harder. I guess I got to delete pictures. Comes with this really like soft paper. The paper feels like really expensive poster here. So I thought that was badass. But I gotta tell you guys, man, I don't want to judge it yet because I do need to finish the film. But I did start watching it last night. It's just too much of a drama for me, man. I gotta admit. But yeah. 4K and Blu-ray. Cool poster. Somebody bought this at Target for 30-something bucks back in the day. All right, yeah, X-Men Dark Phoenix. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to be a fan of it, to be honest with you. Let me know if you guys have seen that and what you think about it. All right, I watched 2 of these films. We have a 4 feature here. A Force of One, The Octagon, which I saw a long, long time ago. I'm going to have to watch that one again. And Garrison, some military movie I couldn't give a 2 flying fucks about. A Force of One has that classic, iconic VHS artwork. I remember seeing that in video stores coming up. So I had to throw that one in. I couldn't remember if I saw it. And yeah, I thought it was pretty good, man. Now, let me see. Basically, it's kind of it's okay. The Force of One is not as good as I thought it was going to be. The cover art is definitely better than the movie. Now, I did like the ending, and I like the ending of the movie kind of saved the film. I thought the ending was good, and the choreography was really good in it, especially the end sequence. They kind of slow things down. Now, Chuck Norris's brother does the choreography in a lot of his films. He does a really good job, Aaron Norris. Now, basically, these undercover cops that are trying to bust this drug ring at a convenience store. Drugs are getting funneled through these clothing stores. They sneak in the middle of the night looking for the drugs and stuff. And some martial artist jumps out like a ninja and breaks both of their necks, okay? And throws them in the Hudson or some shit. They end up getting drudged up, and somehow the police investigate this and blame it on martial artists. There's no way they would know that, but for whatever reason, they figure that shit out. So, hence Chuck Norris being in the film, they enlist him to train everybody on the police force how to fight in karate, right? So, Chuck Norris has a black son for some reason in this movie. His black son ends up getting, well, I don't want to go into too many spoilers, but Chuck Norris ends up going against these this drug trafficking ring and these martial artists to, he needs to get some revenge. Let me just put you that way eventually. There's a really cool sequence. He doesn't want to be in this at first when the cops, he's like fighting for a championship, and he's also training at a dojo. He's training young kids. He doesn't have time for it, but the police officer shows him the dead bodies of someone that got killed by this guy, and so he's like training, hitting the big bag, and he's having flashbacks of seeing the dead body while he's hitting the bag, and then afterwards, after the training, he gets on the phone, he's like, I'll do it. It's like a really cool sequence. But all right, a movie that really shocked me. I'm surprised how good it was, even though it's so good it's bad. Exit Speed. Now, I'm a huge fan of Fred Ward, and the plots of this movie just really sounded cool to me. Exit Speed also has like an older Leah Thompson in it. You remember Leah Thompson from Back to the Future, the hot brunette in Back to the Future. And so anyway, there's this biker gang. So Leah Thompson and a few others are on this bus traveling cross country or something like that. And this biker gang, who basically go into areas and just pillage the area and just terrorize everyone. They start terrorizing this bus. It's traveling across Texas. So they basically force them off road, and these people on this bus become stranded in this junkyard, this scrapyard. And man, this movie has tons of really cool practical kills in it. I was surprised at how many really good kills they had in this movie. Now, the thing that's so hilarious about this film, the bad guys are on camera a lot in this movie. This biker gang, not one word of dialogue the entire run of the movie. They never talk once. It's so funny. Don't know why they decided to do that, but it's just bizarre. And so there's one girl in the film, which I thought was a cool part to the film. They're basically held up in the junkyard, and the bikers are there, but they're kind of waiting on reinforcements to come. And so they're like drinking beer, like partying, doing drugs and stuff. And the good guys are like trying to figure out what to do. And they find out that one of the young girls, teenager, is like into anime and into these video games and these books and stuff, where it's like almost like The Gathering or like Dungeons and Dragons or something like that, where her favorite character is an archer that shoots a bow and arrow. So in real life, she became like a professional bow and arrow, and that's where she was traveling on the bus. She was going to a convention with her bow and arrow to do like target practice and stuff. So they find out about that, but she's no killer or anything, so they have to go back to the bus to get the bow and arrow, and that helps them a lot. She ends up killing some of the bad guys with the bow and arrow. And there's not enough Fred Ward in this. He's not really he's the cop, and most of the action happens with the biker gang and the group of civilians and stuff. But yeah, man, it's super over the top, and it's an entertaining film, man. I was very surprised and shocked at how good some of the practical stuff was pulled off. All right, that's enough of that. All right, I'm going to pause right now. I got to delete some stuff from the phone. All right, I'm going to try to race through the rest of this, guys. I'm going to try to finish this in an hour or so. We don't have much time here. All right, first one, high school film here, guys, Monday Morning. And this was decent. The first half was definitely better than the second half. Some ridiculous stuff happens in this film where they're like, kids are being held hostage by one of the students at the high school at gunpoint, and the police friggin' deliver pizza and soda, which is so funny. The other name for the film is Class of Fear. And I didn't recognize really anybody in here. Jason Lively sounds familiar, but I don't know. It was all right. I don't know if I could recommend it, though. Next up with the slip cover here, we have My Samurai. This is pretty good. This falls prey to the same situation as all the films with Jackie Chan, which I'm like, this little guy cannot beat up all these people. Because the sensei in this film was really kind of a small dude. And he's just kicking ass the whole friggin' movie. He's going against guys that look 6'8", 300 pounds. He's going through a smorgasbord of different sized dudes. And no homo. And just beating the shit out of everybody one by one. Pretty soon, you know, a little guy's like that's going to break down. But I know it's just a movie. But anyway, Mako, the iconic Mako is in this film. He's going to be in another film that we're going to talk about in a little bit that I think I forgot to talk about. That's not an MVD pickup. I'll get that straightened out in a second here. But anyway, basically what happens is in this film, let me just read the synopsis. It'll be easier. When young Peter McRae, John Kahlo, witnesses a gang murder, he is thrust into a dangerous world where strength and power are the keys to survival. His only hope is young Park, Julian Lee, Assassin's Code, a powerful martial arts master with a gift of destroying any opposition. On the run from the gang and the police, young Park must teach Peter the secrets of self-defense and inner strength. From one action-packed sequence to the next, Peter learns about courage, force in himself, so they may continue or confront the ultimate challenge of his life. Now, so the young kid right there is trained by this guy. This is his sensei. But the kid is a straight up pussy in this film, man. He really kind of pisses me off. I want to just slap the shit out of him. He doesn't, you know, he's not really tough. He doesn't help out in the film. You know, he's definitely the opposite of like Ralph Macchio and Karate Kid. And you expect him to start fighting the bad guys with his sensei, but that never really happens to the end, but it's not enough. But Mako's the evil like crime boss in this film, and he's got this litany of people that work for him that all know martial arts and stuff. And since they saw a murder, the kid saw a murder. The kid and I guess the lady that was picking her up, her father's like assistant secretary or something was picking him up. They both saw it, so now they're on the run. And they ran into the dojo, and that's where he got involved. So now all three of them are on the run, but there was a corrupt police that was working with the bad guys, and they end up having to kill him. So now the police force are after them three. They think they're cop murderers, but it was a corrupt cop. And it's a decent film. I thought it was pretty good. It's got some ridiculous bad guys in this film that are so hilarious. Some of them are just so over the top and stupid, you can't help but laugh. Let me show the reversible art on this. Oh, this has no reversible art. They all come with posters, which is really cool. I'm not going to show those, we don't have enough time. Oh God, I can't even get this in the damn slipcover, it's so tight. All right, Mind Games. I thought maybe this would be a slasher, but it is what it says it is. This is a total psychological film. It stars Maxwell Caulfield, who is famous for Grease 2. He's been in a ton of movies. I always remember him from The Boys Next Door with Charlie Sheen. And basically, this mother and father are traveling in an RV with their son across country, and they pick up a hitchhiker, and the hitchhiker basically plays all these mind games and tries to break them up and get into the kid's head and cause all kinds of problems. This does have reversible art. Sorry I'm racing through these, but I need to go have lunch, guys. I mean, when you look at the cover art, you'd think slasher, but I think one person dies. If not, 0 people die in this film. All right, I would consider this a cult classic, man. I was always wondering, I was always on the I was always borderline going to pick this one up, but I was like, when I was getting into all the Cyborg films and stuff, this looked like it might be a Cyborg film, but the reviews were kind of hit and miss on it. But man, I really enjoyed this one. But I gotta say, I liked this film, but when I watched the special features after and heard the director talk about it for like 30 minutes, it moved up a notch for me. Now I like really like it. The director, John Bud Cardos, directed King of the Spiders with William Shatner, which is one of my favorite killer spider movies of all time. Also, he directed Mutant. And really, that's like 3 cult films right there. Now, the funny thing about this film is not the funny thing, but the ironic thing, or maybe even not ironic, but Tobe Hooper was directing this film and he got fired because he was so behind schedule. And John Bud Cardos is kind of known for being the cleanup man. He comes in when directors fail and takes over directorial jobs and save movies. And this is basically an alien ship crashes in the suburbs, and this alien starts killing people, man. Really good shit. Super cheesy special effects, but fun film, man. I gotta admit, I like this shit. And this has reversible cover art as well. My voice keeps cracking. Hopefully I'm not getting sick. It's getting cold down here, guys. This has got to be the worst reversible cover art I've ever seen in my life. I don't think that's really reversible cover art. That's just artwork that they made. Or maybe that part was, I don't know. Whatever. But yeah, I don't know why I have the AC on. I need to shut this car off. I wonder I'm getting sick. I got the friggin' AC on. It's like 40 degrees outside. I forgot when I went to go get coffee and delete stuff off of my phone that I had the car and the AC running. Not a good idea. It's going to be like in the 20s in the next couple of days. All right, this is one of the biggest surprises for me, guys. Especially me not knowing about this film, I was like, oh man, a killer kid film that I don't know about? It can't be that good. Yes, it is that good. Here's the slip right here. Mikey. This is a super badass film, guys. Now, again, I was skeptical about it because I never heard about it. But, let me see. Oh, yeah, that's right. So this film was like on the, what is it called? The Nasties list or whatever. Banned films in the UK. And, because like in the UK, there's these 3 kids, or no, it was 2 kids that kill this other younger kid, and they kill him after watching Child's Play 3. So it's supposed to be, they were influenced by Child's Play 3, and this movie was trying to get its rating at the time that happened, so it got all kinds of, you know, it had all kinds of issues getting a rating and putting this movie out. I don't even know how it was ever released. But, yeah, the Video Nasties list. And it's kind of funny. Chucky, Mikey, like, it kind of plays along that same, the name is kind of similar, you know. Now, this film right here had really cool practical effects in it. I could see there being a part 2. I'm very mad that there's not a part 2 of this. They could have done like the Stepfather films and made several films where he just goes on to different families. Because that's what happens in this film. He kills his family in the beginning of the movie because he wasn't getting his way. And he's adopted by another family. And then he starts putting them through the same hell as that family. So I could have seen them doing the same thing with like the Stepfather films. Very upset that they didn't make a sequel to this. Or maybe they did. I need to do some research. The young kid is a great actor in this film. He's so good in it. He records all the kills and then watches them, and he's like busted watching them by the mother at one point, and he's like, oh, I'm watching Holmes' Funniest Videos. It's so hilarious, some of the one-liners. It's kind of like Chucky, for real. He has one-liners like Chucky. All right, so, well, this has no reversible cover art. Yeah, one of the best killer kid films ever made. He uses bow and arrows, slingshots, all kinds of cool weapons, and highly enjoy this one, man. You got to check this one out if you've never seen it. If you're a fan of Killer Kid films, it doesn't get any better than this, guys. Yeah, if I can get back in the slip. All right, there we go. All right, probably the worst film, or one of the worst films. Albert Pyun. I love Albert Pyun, but he really made a bad film with this one. You know, Burt Reynolds used to be so cool back in the day. The Cannonball Run films and countless action films, Sharky and all those movies, he was so good, but he just reached an age where he just jumped the shark, and everything that he was in was just crap. He had that weird fake-looking toupee, and that's what he is. He's fake toupee, over-the-hill Burt Reynolds in this, and he's just terrible in it. Rob Lowe is a heroin addict in this film, and he is like just the most uninteresting character I've ever seen in a film. Just a terrible acting job by him. We got Wooden Ice-T in this. He's probably the best part of the film. He's not in it enough, though. And, no, I'm sorry. The best part of the film is probably Mario Van Peebles, who's holding this little dog in the film like he's this evil villain. So he plays a kind of a cool role in it. And, yeah, it just wasn't good. It's basically a heist film. Doesn't even have a slip. Bland as shit. Crazy 6. Do not recommend it. All right, this is kind of a cool film. I had to look up Sybil Danning because I was like, okay, I love Wings Hauser. He always plays this great slimeball characters in movies, and he's such a good actor. I'm a huge fan of his. But why am I buying this movie with Sybil Danning's name in it? Who the hell is that? So anyway, she's this Australian chick known for doing a bunch of B-movie roles back in the 70s and 80s. She got like her first start in a Roger Corman film, or her first American big movie was like a Roger Corman film. Can't remember the name of it. And her name is Ruger in this, and she's a cop turned bounty hunter. And after not Rutger Hauer, I keep saying that, Wings Hauser's character killed her partner, and now she's out for revenge. And Hauser's character is over the top crime boss guy. He's like this artist that's painting this naked chick off and on throughout the film, and you never see what the picture looks like. And he's super weird in this film, but he's crazy. He's batshit crazy like he always is. And yeah, man, I thought Sybil Danning was a real badass in this movie, man. I really want to see some more movies that she's in. There's a picture of her right there. It says, for a bounty hunter, a killer is just another paycheck. No reversible art in that. I can't remember if I mentioned the name. Yeah, L.A. Bounty. She's a tall, blonde, good-looking chick, man. And she has some badass guns in this game as well. Not game, movie. All right, we're almost done. How many minutes I got left here? 14 minutes. I got to rush through this. All right, I have not seen this one yet. I watched the beginning of it. It was super slow. I think I read that the directors really tried their ass off in this, but they didn't have much to work with. Very low-budget sci-fi affair. But I need to give it a chance. I'll watch the whole film and let you guys know. Primal Scream. No reversible cover art. We have Drive with Mark Dacascos. And for whatever reason, Kadeem Hardison was like the, I don't know, the Eddie Murphy of action films back in the day. I used to remember him from Different World. He doesn't seem like a guy who would be in B action films, but he's in quite a few of them. And, yeah, it's supposed to be a really good action film. Look forward to watching this one, Drive. And then last of the MVD pickups, and I'm going to have to find that movie that I didn't show you guys yet because I'm not seeing it. I'll find it. Anyway, super over-the-top Vampire's Kiss with Nick Cage. I forgot how batshit crazy this film is. This has to be the film that catapulted his career, doing all these super nuts, over-the-top acting performances, because I can't picture a movie where he's more over-the-top than this one. I started not to like this, but really kind of got into it, man. The head vampiress is so beautiful, and although this is totally a black comedy, it's also got some really you know, serious like underlying you know, sequences in the film. I think it's shot beautifully. I think it's shot in New York. It reminds me of a Larry Fessenden vampire film as well that was shot in New York. I can't remember the name right now. But, yeah, beautifully shot. And, yeah, pretty cool film, man. Vampire's Kiss. And why is a brand new Blu-ray from MVD got wrinkles in it? I don't know if you guys noticed that. It's kind of aggravating me. Anyway, I'm going to pause and find that movie. All right, last DVD before we get to Blu-rays here. High school can be a dangerous place and a deadly experience. Yeah, man, I highly enjoyed this one. It's got Corey Feldman in it. He's really good in it. Aaron Gray is in it. Dick Van Patten's the principal. And Mako, again, is this young man right here. I don't know his name, but he is, Mako is his sensei in this film. Now, this is a PM Entertainment film, guys, and not your typical PM Entertainment film. A lot of people call this a Karate Kid ripoff, and I guess it has some elements of that, but I don't think it's Karate Kid ripoff. I think it's his own film. Now, Ethan Ted Jan Roberts, I guess is this kid's name. He was also in Magic Kid, in Mortal Kombat 2 with Don the Dragon Wilson. I think Don the Dragon Wilson was in Magic Kid. I don't think he was in Mortal Kombat 2. But anyway, Corey Feldman is on the bad side in this film. And his sensei is played by Marshall Teague, who's a really good bad guy in this film. And I was wondering who I couldn't recognize him. And then I read his IMDb, and he was the bad guy in Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze. Ethan's the good kid sensei is played by Mako. We already talked about that. And Mako was in the both of the Conan films, if you guys don't know about that. Now, basically in the movie, Ethan's older brother, who's a badass karate specialist, starts hanging around Corey Feldman's martial arts team, and they're into like stealing cars and robbing banks. And their sensei's like a bad guy, like taking stolen goods from them. And they like work for him and pay him like money and stuff when they're robbing houses and stuff. And during a botched robbery, they end up killing Ethan's brother. And they set it up like he hung himself at the school in the gymnasium. And his brother finds him in the gymnasium. And so, you know, they have the funeral and everything. And his younger brother, he's a badass, man. He's like really good fighter, just like his brother. And he is determined to find out who killed his brother. And he has a feeling about Corey Feldman and the other martial arts team. So he basically goes and befriends them. Like he goes undercover and becomes their friend and starts rolling around with them doing crimes and stuff. And then it culminates in him fighting with against their martial arts team, because he leaves Mako's team and joins the bad side. But in the end, he goes and joins back on Mako's team, and they have a martial arts tournament. And yeah, man, I really enjoyed this, man. Good shit, good PM Entertainment stuff. Not your typical PM Entertainment stuff. More in the lines of Karate Kid, but it's got its own lane. And thought Corey Feldman did a really good job in this one. The kid is relentless in that film, man. Just a badass. You guys know how much I love Laserdisc. It's been a while since I've seen some of this stuff, so forgive me. I'll take that off of there so it's not shining too much. Got Fist Fighter on Laserdisc. You gotta love the Laserdisc artwork, man. It's so badass. There can be only one winner. Fist fighter. I can't remember if I read about this in the, I don't think they did. I don't think I did. How many minutes I got left? All right, so when they killed his friend, stole his money, and put him in jail, all CJ Thunderbird had left were his courage. Wait, all CJ Thunderbird had left were his courage? That should be was his courage, I would think. And his fist. With his heart and honor on the line, CJ has only his fist and courage to rely on. Truly an unforgettable hero, CJ descends into the shadowy world of bare fist boxing to avenge his murdered friend. His quest takes him to a town where he must confront Vance, Mike Connors, Mannix, the all-powerful fist-fighting promoter who manages Rhino, Matthias Hughes. Oh, I forgot Matthias Hughes is in this. So ultimately, he has to fight against Matthias Hughes, who's a badass in this film. And it also says special appearance by World's Wrestling Champion, superstar Billy Graham. I didn't even notice that when I was watching the movie. Yeah, man, this is a really good bare-knuckle brawler. And he goes to prison. I can't remember why. I think he goes to like a some kind of fight promotion barbecue or something like that. Some kind of an event, and ends up killing someone on accident because the Matthias Hughes pisses him off, and he swings and hits the wrong guy and kills somebody because his hands are like a lethal weapon. And so he goes to prison, and in prison, I don't know what he fights. He fights like this troll, this half monkey, half man dude who's all full of hair and shit. He fights this freaking monkey dude. It's so funny. And he has to fight him to get out of prison or so. It's hard for me to remember. I've watched so many freaking movies. But yeah, man, I definitely recommend this Fist Fighter. Sorry if I butchered that one. And I brought this along to remind me. So John Barrett in American Kickboxer 1. We talked about this one. Really enjoyed that film. There was a part 2 to it that does not have the same name. Part 2 is called To the Death. And John Barrett is back. Now, I think in this film, let me see. Yeah, Keith Vitale was the bad guy in this movie. And I think it's the same role played in this film, but now Keith Vitale's character is played by Michael Quizzy. And he's a badass. He was in Kickboxer and Lionheart. I think he's a real martial artist too, like a real badass. But yeah, To the Death's fun, man. Starring international martial arts champion John Barrett, American Kickboxer 1, and Michael Quizzy of Kickboxer and Lionheart. To the Death tells a riveting story of a fearless kickboxing champ who battles for his life against a sadistic, powerful fight promoter, Rick Quinn. John Barrett, a world kickboxing title holder, decides to retire from the sport, only to be lured back in by Dominic LeBrock, an evil, corrupt entrepreneur. When he discovers that LeBrock's private kickboxing parties always end up in murder for pleasure of the host fighter. Yeah, every fight ends up in a murder. If you lose the fight, they go over there and they take a gun and they kill you. They shoot you or cut your neck or something like that. So it's really crazy, man. It's more than just a sport. It's survival. But that fight promoter, LeBrock, plays a real over-the-top, like, really funny role. He's one of the best parts of the movie, actually. Good shit, man. Gotta love that Laserdisc artwork, too. All right, guys, that's it. I'm tired. Oh, no, that's not it. We'll save the best for last, actually, man. Okay, this is one of the greatest names for a film I've ever seen, and I'm super happy. I said the word super probably 1,000 times in this video. To present you with Skeeter. Love it, guys. I absolutely love it. A giant Killer mosquito film, guys. Earth is the final breeding ground is the tagline. Toxic waste turns a stagnant pool of water into a breeding ground of terror. The result is a new species of mosquito, making this sci-fi thriller an unforgettable, spine-tingling, and stinging experience. In the small desert town of Mesquite, Sarah Crosby and her boyfriend are the first to discover the horrifying truth that the invasion has begun and Earth is the final battleground. Tracy Griffith, The First Power. Good movie. The Finest Hour, speaking of Lou Diamond Phillips. Charles Napier, Philadelphia, Silence of the Lambs. Michael J. Pollard, Split Second. Good movie. Rutger Hauer, Next of Kin, Swayze. And Jim Young's Wise Guy, Young Blood, star in this frightening tale of nature's final evolution. This film is unexplainable how weirdly badass it is. I'm going to tell you right now, the practical effects on the mosquitoes are so badass, man. So cool. They did such a good job with the practical effects in it. Now, they do mix it with some really bad CGI, but there's enough practical effects in it to save it. And this movie is truly a unique experience that I've never experienced anything close to it before. That's the best way I can describe it. You absolutely have to see Skeeter, and you need to watch it on Laserdisc. It is truly a phenomenal, unforgettable movie experience. I love it. Skeeter, guys. Hell of a way to end the film or movie, or hell of a way to end the video. I'm gonna go take a nap. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Peace out.